We're going on now.
Hey, community.
How you doing? We are
1, 2.
Comic Talk. And it's nice to have you here, sir.
Finally.
Well, not finally. You've been, in and out. But, this is a special one.
Well, because of our guests, we actually have been pretty good at bringing on some new guests.
Not only that, but we've been bringing on guests that we both are rather fond of, as in sense of the storylines, the artwork. You and I see eye to eye on a lot of these like pretty violent Franklin and Ghost style stories.
I get you into stuff, you get me into stuff.
It's awesome.
It's a cycle.
So how about we go ahead and bring in our co-host.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Christy.
Hey, how's it going, man? Morning. I feel like probably.
Hey, my apologies. I know that. Well, no, I dropped the ball. I was under the assumption I'd already given you the link. So, community, apologize. Flashpoint. Hey, Scott, Backstreet, appreciate everyone being here, and Christy, you too. I'm grateful that you're here. Without further ado, how about we bring in some bodies?
I kind of want to get a drink first.
You go get a drink. Christy, I was told that I know that you know of at least one of our guests today. Is that correct?
I think so.
So our guests today are Mr. Garrett Gunn and Mr. Ryan Kincaid. I had mentioned your name to Garrett, and he was familiar with you.
Yes.
Not that I'm surprised.
Good or bad thing. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, because I say some shit sometimes and people just start laughing. But I think because they're laughing, that's a good thing. So it's like.
Absolutely. So you know what? I'm going to let Kai go ahead and get his drink. I'm going to bring in these fine gentlemen. Let's start off with Mr. Garrett Gunn.
What up?
Hey, Garrett. How's it going?
What's up, Garrett?
Good. What's going on, Christy? How are you?
I'm doing okay. I had Casey Anthony removed from my abdomen in September, so that was fun.
What?
it's like fucking. I think we're loopy because like this quarantine, we're just getting all stupid with how we socialize. I thought you knew because we know a lot of the same people, and I talked about it before. No, what happened is that I had a pancreatic tumor removed from my abdomen.
Holy hell!
And before we fully get into that, let's go ahead and bring in Ryan, and then we'll go ahead and compass this. Everybody, Mr. Ryan Kincaid.
Hey Ryan, how's it going?
I jumped in at the right time, apparently.
Yeah, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, it's not about me. I just said like, oh yeah, just as a quick catch up. Yeah, that's what happened. I can tell you guys.
That's crazy.
Well, what it was is that like, okay, last year I felt kind of like tired and run down. And this was right after San Diego. So I thought, oh, I've been pushing. So I'll just make this as quick as possible. Hey Rose, how's it going? So what ended up happening was that I felt really bad. Like I thought I had a kidney infection, which hadn't happened to me in years. So I go to the emergency room and I'm not like falling over, but I just feel bad. And I just like, fuck this. I'm just going to go and maybe get some antibiotics, get rid of this fucker because I kept getting sick, but everybody else was getting sick. So I thought, oh, okay, I'm just run down. But after a while, I'm like, no, this is not normal. I mean, I would stay in bed for almost 3 days. I'd like get up and then I'm like, oh, I'm too tired and go to bed. So they run an ultrasound on me and then tell you, oh, you have a huge mass either in your liver, stomach, or pancreas. Like what? And then they did a CAT and they said, we are worried. We found a 6-inch mass in your pancreas. I'm like, what?
6 inches?
Oh,
that's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. And so what ended up happening was that long and short, and being probed and shit. Well, first, what they thought of, it was advanced pancreatic cancer. They didn't come out and say it, but, big mass pancreas, not a good thing. But then they removed it via Whipple. So Whipple is they take out the part of the pancreas that's fucked. And then they take out part of your stomach because the blood, like a lot of the tumors are in the head. And the head circulatory system is intertwined with the stomach, parts of the stomach. So they had to remove the pylorus valve and the duodenum of the stomach. So, and then they had to remove my gallbladder. Nothing was wrong with it, but they had to rewire me all to my small intestine. God. So that was fun. And then, because
right, I'm like, nah, dude.
Yeah,
at least she's explaining it the way that we can understand it, not like how doctors do. She's like,
my tummy hurt. I don't know. Take it out.
The pain in this general vicinity needs to be dilated and removed, and we're gonna
Yeah. So it's just like, long and short of it, he basically said, this will 100% turn to cancer, because this guy like did tons of them.
God,
And he
it's
said this
fucking
will
crazy.
100% turn to cancer if you leave it in, because he told me that he had a patient that
Man.
he told, you need to take this out, and then she waited 10 years, she didn't take it out, and she was battling stage
Yikes.
3. So I was like, and
Jesus.
I was thinking how shitty I felt. I'm like, she was dumb for leaving that in there, because how
Yeah,
could we
what the
live with that
fuck?
more for 10 years?
Yeah, no way. I'd be like,
So-
my tummy hurt, give me medicine.
Yeah,
Take it out. No.
Yeah,
Fix this.
So he just said, like, okay, so it's from, it might be a really fucked up form of pancreatic cancer, to, you're going to be diabetic because we're going to remove a lot of your pancreas. I'm like, okay. And then now it's like, I'm fine. I don't have diabetes, so I don't know what's going on.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Look how fancy this stream is. It's popping up with the comments on the screen and everything.
I know every time people are like different live streams throughout the week, I'm like, who's got the better one and how do I do that?
This is tight, yeah.
Mine's just my phone.
Well, actually, we will down the road actually bump up to what everyone else has got. I'm trying to hear. Kai doesn't want to go too extra, so we kind of keep it natural.
I mean, just in my natural personality, I don't talk a lot, and like I have a very.
But also, we don't do too many frilly things. But hey, how about we get into this? So how about we start with what, I have to admit, Warcorns was my first, how should I say, I guess, introduction to you, Garrett. I saw that coming on the horizon.
Yeah.
No. And I had to find out more. So when I ended up finding out that, correct me at any point, please, when or if I'm wrong, that it links to the Franklin and Ghost. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So I had to go regress even more. All right, okay, what's Franklin and Ghost about? Now, Kai and I were really big in the indies, so we were talking a little bit about this, and I had to get it.
I think I can actually see the connection. Living crazy animal things. Warcorns is also living crazy animal things made out of space, whatever.
Galactic, right? So, since touched on that, can you tell the community
it's
about Franklin and Ghost, please? Could you do that?
I don't want to spoil too much, so we're gonna leave it at space. Thank you.
Yeah. So Franklin and Ghost sort of follows these two aliens that are from this like super boring mining planet where nobody ever does anything except break rocks all day, and they're like, man, this fucking sucks. Like, there's got to be more to the world, like to the universe. Like, we got to do something. So they steal a spaceship, but neither of them can fly, so they crash like immediately. And they kind of take over the bodies. One of them lands in a forest where there's this fox that's kind of being like terrorized by these like hillbillies. There's the other one lands in a graveyard on top of this this grave belonging to this guy named John Pewter, whose nickname was Ghost. So they sort of like reconnect after they've found these bodies, and they're like, I mean, we're here, like, we might as well explore Earth a little bit. Not knowing that like them leaving their home planet kind of set in motion this chain of events that could like destroy the galaxy. And so the story is kind of about them just like going on this joyride while the universe is crumbling around them and everyone else is trying to like corral them back home. Yeah, and it's just like all the trouble they get into while they're gone.
Now, in the series Franklin and Ghost, how many issues are in the entire series of that volume 1?
So we didn't do Franklin and Ghost in issues. I hate making a 22-page comic or 24-page comic because it takes you 6 fucking months to make it, and then someone reads it in 2 minutes and they go, cool, when's the next one? And you're like, what? Jesus. When we did Franklin, and I don't think you can it's fine if it's a continual series, but like if you're doing you don't know how long you're going to be able to make these run. And so there's not a lot of story in that size of a book. So I was like, when we did Franklin and Ghost, I told Nick, I was like, look, this is going to be like at least a 45 to 50 page first book. And he was like, all right, cool. Yeah, whatever. So we did it in volumes. We call them volumes, even though it's not collecting anything, in a volume sized book. So volume 1 is like 55 pages. Volume 2 is 48. Volume 3 is 52, and Volume 4 is 90.
So the trade that I have behind me does collect all those.
Yeah, that collects Volume 1, 2, and 3, and then Volume 4 just came out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which we love, by the way. If you haven't grabbed this thing yet, you don't even know what you're missing. But hang out with us, and we'll see what we can do for you. So, hey, Mr. Ryan Kincaid. Now, I actually, through Garrett, I had seen your work, and I had saw what turned into be my favorite cover for the soon-to-drop Warcorns. Now, the cover that I fell in love with was the selfie cover.
The which one?
The selfie cover.
Oh yeah.
The middle finger, yeah. The middle finger cover, yeah.
It's just, yes.
That's my favorite one too, by chance. You know,
you're not biased or anything. You know?
I'm not biased at all. And you know what? Even if it wasn't drawn by me, anybody that puts a bunch of unicorns, given the bird, would probably get my vote no matter what.
Why am I thinking of that?
Well, one of the questions is one, how did you two meet to work on this cover? And then two, what's some of the other works that you two have done together?
How did we meet?
I just knew Ryan from like seeing him at conventions.
I was gonna say I'm gonna say cons, just kind of bypass each other and know names and whatnot.
Yeah, and he was always like with that like cool group of dudes like at the cons, like it's like him and like Mustafa and like Jeremy and all these like guys that were like, yeah, it's cool, dude. We draw hot chicks.
Okay,
and, like,
Garrett, I'm gonna stop you. Those are not the cool kids.
I know. I was being sarcastic in case you didn't pick up on that. So they like had like I was like, what? Like I was fairly new to shows, and I was like, what are like there's like this whole group of people that have these massive like displays of like all these drawings of hot chicks they've made for like Lady Death and like all these other properties, and I was like, who are these people? Like this is so weird. And Ryan was like the most approachable of all of them.
It was probably I had the smallest display too.
That's probably true because he's not like overcompensating as much as some of the other.
I don't have little man syndrome.
Yeah.
Well, probably like because it's one of those things that guys say, those who talk about it don't get it. So it's like,
that's mildly putting it. Yes.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Is I don't want a big background behind me. That's overbearing.
Yeah.
I want people just come to me like, oh look, there's Captain Marvel drawn 72 times. It's like, oh look, there's Ryan. He's drawing again.
Yeah. I don't remember like a moment though. Like I don't remember like I just remember like we just started talking. I think I just like messaged Ryan on Facebook, and I was like, "Hey, I've seen your stuff. It's dope. Like, do you want to like do a cover or something?"
There was a lot of mutual friends, and no one really understood that me and Garrett were already in talks on doing some work together just through Messenger. And it was like, hey, I need you to meet my buddy Garrett. And then to Garrett, hey, I need you to meet my buddy Ryan. We're going to all do this work together. It's like, no, man, we're already doing it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah.
We got it. We're good.
Yeah.
So me by was kind of by chance. I think the first one was for the Franklin and Ghost cover, right? The one shot?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was through Comics Elite.
Yeah, and that was because you had worked with them on other stuff. And so they were like, we're going to do a variant. We think Ryan would do a great, job on this. And I was like, yeah, I love Ryan's stuff. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
So that was it. So then like after that, when we got ready to do Warcorns, I was like, I need somebody that draws ridiculous shit.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I don't know if you approached me or if I approached you and was like, Garrett, I want to do this. But
I'm pretty sure you said you wanted to draw a Warcorns cover.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? As someone who draws such beautiful women, maybe he'll draw beautiful men too.
Yeah.
And those men will also be unicorns. And those,
I grew up on old school My Little Pony, and like unicorns, like, oh, they're traditionally like the girl thing. They're not a manly thing. And then it's like Warcorns, like, yeah, we're gonna go and fucking like shoot everything with rainbows and shit and guns. Like, all right. go behind.
Well, I also like the funny thing about Warcorns is that like Warcorns kind of came out of I wanted to like I met so many people in the military that were just like the most toxically masculine, like shitty dudes. And I was like, I want to like use these personalities, but I want to make them characters that I know will drive them nuts.
Put you in as a green unicorn.
Yeah, I was like, so I'm gonna make them all fucking unicorns, which they're all gonna hate, and then I'm gonna give them big ass machine guns, and I'm gonna like just like let their personalities just funnel through these ridiculous personas.
Rainbow crayon across.
And then they all liked it, which was kind of like bullshit because I was like, damn it, I didn't want you to like it, and then now all of those guys are like, hey, so I'm deployed. Like, can you send me and my team some Warcorns books so we can read them?
There you go, Garrett.
Look at how beautiful it is.
Oh,
I know. I think I
there
have
we
one.
are.
Yeah.
I think what it is that like with guys like that, I've noticed like sometimes they'll just do that shit.
So sick.
That's beautiful, by the way.
It's
but the thing is,
freaking gorgeous. I'm drooling. God damn it! I want that book.
That's my Garrett.
So nice.
yeah, but
Well,
like,
tell the community how they can find that book.
yeah,
How can they get a hold of that book if they want to buy one?
We have a couple.
I think we might have like maybe 2 or 3 copies left.
I think we do. I think I do too. I think I got 2 or 3.
It came out of nowhere because it was it's kind of an FU on multiple things because we saw the book coming out and I loved the idea of it. And again, it's Warcorns. And it was in a period of my career where there was so much crap going on and so many people talking shit and so much stuff that I was like, Garrett, let me draw these unicorns, basically giving everybody a middle finger. So it's a selfie, there's multiple reasons for the middle finger. And it was hey, we'll do it. It was during his Kickstarter. And it was like, let's just do 100 of them. We'll split it. Whatever happens, happens. I just want to freaking make it. I don't care if I had to pay for it myself. I just want to make it. And then it just went. I think New York, we blew through most of them.
Yeah.
Whatever was left through Kickstarter. Because I only have maybe, like I said, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, but he has a backstory because he has an obsession with people back in the day where he had to take pictures of everybody
this was like saying hello.
flipping off. So we have hundreds of pictures of friends flipping people off.
Yeah.
Because that was his thing. So he was like,
I wanted a coffee
I want to
table
do
book,
that.
the big FU.
He wanted to make a coffee table book of that.
I love that.
What's up? We said hi at the bars. What's up? How you doing?
I think it's like this when you're talking, Garrett, like about like the manly military dudes. I think when they saw unicorns, it's like, oh, it's the Lisa Frank shit. Fuck that shit. That's My Little Pony shit. But now when they got guns and shit and the big pecs and gains, it's like, oh yeah, now that. Oh wait, rainbow colors are cool.
Yeah.
So one of the funniest things that came out of Warcorns is I had a guy message me on the Kickstarter, like send me a message through the campaign. And he said, he was like, I noticed that all the Warcorns are guys. He was like, so you don't believe in like being inclusive?
Can I do it?
And I said, I was like, well, how do you know they're all guys? And he was like, well, what do you mean? They're dudes. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure on like horses, the only way you can tell if it's a guy or girl horse is their genitals. Can you see their genitals in any of these pictures? He's like, well, no, but like they're all buff and stuff. And I was like, so all dudes can be buff or look badass? And he was like, what? I was like trying to back him into a corner, and he was like, yeah, but like, and didn't like know what to say. And I was like, maybe you'll find out. Maybe some of them aren't guys.
That'd be good.
Driving him crazy. Yeah, I hope
that's awesome.
It was stupid. It was like he was trying to get a rise out of me, and I was like, I don't care.
Yeah, it's funny when people try to do that to you as a creator, and you just look at them and you laugh at them.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm like, I made these characters. I'll make that one a girl right now just to prove a point.
Yeah.
I'll change it. The next step, I'll change it. The next issue. No explanation.
Well, it's kind of like in Aliens, when he went up to, I think, Vasquez or something. He says, so Vasquez, you've ever been like mistaken for a man? No, have you? And you're like,
It's great.
That's funny. That's too funny.
yeah, it's kind of like that. It's like, but I thought they were guys. It's like, well, they got. It's kind of funny. Like you can fuck with them on the stereotypes and go like, well, yeah, but they're rainbow colored. You think they're men because of that?
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then you just fuck with people like that.
Yeah.
Garrett, are you gonna continue that like we talked?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just talked to the interior artist for we're doing the 4-issue miniseries starts this fall. So we're doing like the first one was the one shot of like kind of the introduction to the Franklin and Ghost universe. And the next one is going to kind of like go back in time to when they're recruits before they're part of Warcorn's division. And it's going to be like about how they met and like their like adventures like as like an early team.
Okay.
Actually, speaking of that, you're talking about that. Can you go ahead and make it coherent for the whole timeline for the whole universe that you've built for this? So it goes Franklin and Ghost, and then you're dropping Warcorns next, correct?
Yeah. So someone asked me before, which it seems ridiculous to have to like tell people this now. Like the fact that I have enough books for people to even be asking. They were like, someone was like, "Can you give me like the proper reading, like the timeline, like of how to read stuff?" Right. So technically, Warcorns takes place between Franklin and Ghost Volume 2 and Volume 3. Which is basically like the retrieval bots have kind of like failed to like bring Franklin and Ghost home. General Badgewey is like, I don't like looking at other options of like how he can like corral these idiots. So he kind of outsources to this team, this like third party, galactic agency that kind of like has resources of like multiple different like, special forces teams and a bunch of stuff. And they're like, you know what, Warcorns can do this. Like, we'll bring Warcorns in. So they hire the Warcorns Division Alpha team to come and try to bring them back. So Warcorns, the one shot takes place between 2 and 3. And then the miniseries will take place like a long time ago. So
I'm waiting for the international.
It's international and cosmic are both happening.
I already got my 2. We already
I know. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Covers?
Yeah, that little character.
Yeah. So we're gonna do like there's gonna be like spin-offs of Warcorns. We're doing Warcorns International, and we're doing Warcorns Cosmic. And those are gonna be ones that
So what is the international and cosmic? Can you get into that?
So international is gonna be kind of like because so Warcorns Division is part of a much larger like structural system, which is called Equestrian Command. And Equestrian Command, it has 2 sort of like factions: Pegasus Corps and Warcorns Division. Pegasus Corps is Pegasus Corps is like their like scholarly like people, like they're more like R&D stuff like that. And then Warcorns Division is like the blunt instruments. Like, oh no, you're not smart. Go shoot bad guys. So Warcorns Division as a whole kind of like polices the entire galaxy. So like they go everywhere. Warcorns International is basically like a reconnaissance team that's sent to Earth to try to like before Franklin and Ghost to try to like keep an eye on that planet. They're like assigned to Earth. And as they land here, they land all over Earth. And they sort of like try to like assimilate themselves into like Earth culture. So you have like them landing in different regions. Like there's a Scottish one, like wears a kilt and like carries a claymore and like all kinds of cool shit because all he knows about Scotland is like Braveheart. There's like a samurai in Japan. There's like one that lives like on the West Coast who's like a surfer dude. One in Canada that's a Mountie. Like they're all over the place. And so like they sort of like are here to try to like protect. They're like the Earth's Avengers, Unicorn Avengers basically. And they team up to try to like take down threats to Earth. So that's international is going to be like based here.
That kind of makes me glad that you guys didn't put in Ireland because that would have been some shit.
there's some dumb ones. There's a pirate one, and actually the pirate was drawn. The concept art for the pirate was drawn by Ron Lim.
Oh damn!
Which is fucking great. Yeah, Captain Longhorn. He's like extra like long unicorn horn. Ron Lim drew a piece for me. He was like, I want to make one up, and I was like, just make me a pirate. He was like, Got it.
Wasn't that at San Diego?
It was in San Diego, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, it's great. So that's international. That's next after the miniseries.
That
Yeah,
sounds
that one's fun.
It's gonna be so dumb. I love
Hey,
it.
Garrett.
Like I think that's great. When I'm making stuff, I'm like, what is the dumbest shit I can put in this? Like, at what point is someone gonna call me on something and be like, you can't do that? Like that's too dumb.
oh
And until I find that line, I'm gonna keep going.
oh god, like I once got into it, like, and again, I know Warcorns is not the same as My Little Pony, but I'm just drawing so many
Oh
hours.
yeah, no, totally.
When you see the Pegasus division and everything, I was like going, oh wow, you know, the little new My Little Pony's kind of racist. And they're like, why? I said, well, okay, so the unicorns, they're the noblemen, the regular ponies are the regular people, the Pegasus are the messengers and the messenger class and everything. And then I don't know what, I think they call the alicorns or something, the ones in the Pegasus that basically metamorphosize as they ascend to more royal higher status.
Yeah, it's
the ones
classist
with
as
the
fuck.
wings and
Yeah.
shit. And I was just like, oh my
Pony.
god, this is fucking racist as hell.
Yeah,
Not what I
bad.
remember.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
because you
it's like-
remember it from like most people remember it like when they were like 9, and you're like,
Well, yeah,
yeah,
there were little toys that didn't move. Now they're like they have their own classes and stuff. That's
oh yeah.
overcomplicating.
Yeah, like when I was a
Not
kid.
if you ask pony fans.
Yeah,
Yes.
like that's the weird thing is like I grew up with My Little Pony, and here
Yeah.
they're all running around in rainbows and shit. Nobody gives
Yeah.
a fuck, right?
Yeah.
Some can fly, some can, and everything. And then like when they have the new line, and I'm not trashing the new My Little Pony. It's really well written, and it has a lot of good storylines, and the characters
Yeah.
are great. Like Sunset Shimmer's a fucking bitch, and I guess she turns out to be better later on. But it's like, you know, in the old My Little Pony, it's like, oh, she's a unicorn, she's great, and like in this new one, she's like a fucking cunt or something. But she's and then, but then,
All I know about the My Little Ponies is like Tony is a good buddy of mine and has drawn it for a long time, and then Sarah Richards has done covers. Other than that, I don't know much until someone's like, "Can you draw this character?" I'm like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And it's even more astonishing when somebody brings me like, "Can you draw me a My Little Pony?" Right? I'm like, "Do you know what I'm known for? You want me to draw a pony?"
I think maybe they're just saying, like, I want to see how this guy draws fucking My Little Pony and shit.
Okay. I mean, I do it. I've had to draw Mr.
They're like,
Piggy
shut
before.
up, artsy man, and draw my pony.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Draw me a pony. Can't deal with that with your toxic masculinity, huh?
Yeah. Oh, you can't draw. You're too good for ponies, huh?
Yeah, but it's just weird. Like nowadays, like when I see the new My Little Pony, I'm just like, what the fuck is all this?
Yeah.
It made it complex. I mean, so when you thought the equestrian division, I was like, oh, equestrian.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh god.
Yep.
Hey, Garrett,
What up?
what inspired the wild creation of Franklin and Ghost?
I had when I first made Franklin a Ghost, I had been making comics for like 4 years. And I was beginning to fucking hate comics already. I had been like lied to, stolen from, like ripped off, like tons of shit. And I was like, you know what? Like, this sucks, dude. Like, I got into making comics because like I like comics. And I was like, this is gonna ruin my love for comics staying in this business. Like, this sucks. Like, I had a guy that like, you know, worked for Marvel that like came on to like draw a book for me, and I was like, it was like my second book I'd ever made, and I was like, he was like, yeah, you have to pay me for the whole book up front. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, you're right, because you're a professional. And so I gave him like $7,000, and because it was like 120 page book, and paid him $7,000, and he was like, peace. Disappeared. And I was like, holy shit. What? That's crazy. Like that, I had like some guy try to come at me saying like I ripped off his IP when I was like using public domain like tropes to like
I
make
remember
stuff.
mentioning that at one point. We were talking.
Yeah. So dumb. Like shit like that. And I was like, this is so fucking stupid. Like this sucks. I don't want to be in this
People do
business.
that with covers.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in this business anymore. This sucks. And I had been like toying with this like idea. At the time, it was called Sherman and Ghost, which so glad I changed that. And my wife, I had like a fucking, like I tell people all the time, like I had my Fantastic Four moment. I was like, my wife was like, who cares? Like, don't do any of this cool shit anymore. Like, just do like this thing. You really like this thing. Just make this one book and then quit. Like, if you're going to quit, make this, because this is really cool. And I was like, fine, I'll make this one issue of this. And then I'm done. Cause I'd already like had concept art done and like a bunch of stuff. And I made it, and it was like making Franklin and Ghost was like so freeing because I like stopped trying to make the next like Walking Dead, the next great comic book. And I was like, I'm going to put all the dumb, awesome shit that I want to into this book. And if no one likes it, fuck them.
Yeah.
If they do, cool. That just means I get to keep making a thing I like. So I put out the first book, and people were like, cool, when's number 2? And I was like, oh, fuck. All right,
You're good.
I'll make a second one. And it just like kept going. And then I got a publisher that like respected me and paid me. And like I started working with people that weren't shit. Like it was just like the turning point for everything. And I was like, cool, I'm not doing any of that other shit anymore. Let's do this. So
it's fun when you get to do what you want to do.
Yeah. And then, like when you like at that point I got to like I had like learned like who was like full of shit and who wasn't. And I was like, I only work with people like
I tried to tell you
shit together. Oh yeah, Ryan told me like early on, yeah. And so like I just like started being a lot more picky about who I worked with. I started like not being so invested in shit. Like I was just like I would go to someone and they'd be like, yeah, my cover rate is $1,000. And I'm like, well, I can't pay that. So I'm going to go find someone else. Bye. Instead of being like, oh, but they worked on Thanos once. I have to pay them $1,000. I don't give a fuck.
Nope.
I don't care. Now I'm just like, cool. Their art's better. They may have not worked for Marvel, but their art's better. And they're $300. So I'm going to go pay them. So I just started doing what
I have in my job that I always say, it's rarely the job, it's the people.
Yeah.
So I found that when you find good people and you have the right chemistry, I mean, that tends to be the way that you can actually, because, you know, I'm sure you both will, all of you agree, because, you know, that what you're trying to do is you're trying to express yourself the best way possible. And when you're finding these inhibitors more than these persons that are able to, you know, be almost like conductors of what you're trying to do, then all you're doing is just, it's an uphill battle of something that's like, man, this is supposed to be a labor of love, not this torturous, arduous thing of, you know, of death.
Well, yeah, and people ask me like, why do you work with Nick so much? Or why do you work with, you know, Ryan? Why do you work with these? Like, I work with the same people over and over again.
I'll punch him.
I just threw your name in there, so it made it.
I got it.
Shannon's got it. She'll take him.
Yeah, Shannon will fuck him up.
My dog.
And I'm like, because I don't have to like have the same bullshit conversations with these people. Like, they know what I need, they know what I want. Like, I know what they need. I know like everything. It works. Why the fuck would I like bring more people into my bubble when the people in here are doing fine?
Yeah.
Like, this is it. I don't need anything else. Like, I don't like Nick, like, and I have a very specific way of writing scripts that like I write very Marvel method. Like, I don't believe in telling an artist what to put in a panel. Like, I'm not a fucking artist. I'm not an artist. I'm not going to tell the artist that I'm paying, you should have this angle and you should show them and you should do this. I'm like, they're artists. They know the best way to make something. I'm going to tell them what's on the page and what's being said.
Well, see, that's not true though.
Oh God.
I'm you know, Persuasion, we're doing my way. I'm writing it, and as the artist, I have other artists that are telling me, hey, this would probably look better if you went that way. And I'll do it. And I'm like, fuck you, you're right, but fuck
you. You're fired. So Ryan's fired. He's not on Netflix anymore. Because clearly he just put himself out of a job.
You can have that.
I got thrown off my own project.
Yeah. But I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, as a writer, like, I'm not going to tell you how to do this. I'm going to tell you like what I would like to see happen, what I would like what is said, whatever. And I only work with certain people because some of those people love that. Stan Yak, Nick Turris, like other people that like have drawn interiors for me are like, I love it because I can go crazy. I can do whatever the fuck I want on this page. Even covers. Like, I go to Ryan and I'm like, I don't know, Warcorn's covered. I don't know, make it cool. And he's like, dope. Like, whatever you want.
Actually, what you're saying right now, is kind of what I was interpreting, the same relationship that David Boer and Drew Zucker have. Because David would write it. David would write it one way and then submit it to Drew, and Drew would kind of say, well, I see it kind of going this way, which would recreate the whole storyline for David. And he's like, you know what? After seeing what you had drawn makes me go back to the original story and reconsider, wait a minute, how am I telling this story?
Well, yeah, Nick will send me stuff all the time and be like, what do you think about this person doing this instead? And I'm like, dope. I like it. Sounds good. Like, as long as it fits to like the master plan, like the end goal, I don't care. Yeah, I love it. But I don't think I've ever once hired anybody for a cover, Ryan, Chris Williams, anybody, and told them what to draw. I don't think I've ever asked for a specific thing on a cover. Every single cover that's ever been made for any of my books was just whatever the artist wanted.
I just did that with Elias for the cover for Persuasion 2.
Elias Shatsudo?
Yeah, and I gave him literally like, this is exactly what I want. And he came back with a sketch that was nowhere near. And I was like, that's beautiful, man. Go do it.
He was like, no, I hear you. I'm going to do what I want, though.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was like, this is my idea. This is my thought process. And he literally was like, this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, yeah.
That's great.
Okay.
I love it. Yeah,
okay.
That's good. Elias is amazing.
As an artist, it's so much easier on our mentality, I think, when they're like, this is just, we want these characters. Do whatever you want with them.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I'm like, there's an idea, like, I don't know, like, it's about Delilah, so you should probably make her the main point, and like, I don't know, put them other characters somewhere.
Hide them in there somewhere.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. You get better product when you can have a little freedom.
For sure. Yeah.
So, okay, Scott was asking, how's the show for Franklin and Ghost coming along? Any updates?
Good. We have, I think next week, the full trailer is going to be done. We have like a 3.5 minute trailer for the show that's going to be set to our theme song that we had made. So so one of the most popular rappers in the United Kingdom came on to do a theme song for Franklin and Ghost called No Fox Given. And
that's funny.
Yeah. And it's like a 3.5 minute song. They set the whole trailer to this song, and it's fucking great. So that comes out next week, I think. We already started working on the pilot. We've got like 3 or 4 studios interested in distributing the show. A lot. There's a lot going on. It's a lot. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. I saw that for a while ago, like saying like, oh, it's going to be picked up. Cool.
Well, but I try not to focus on it, because like when that happens, like it's really easy, especially like when it's your first thing, like when they come in, they're like, we're going to develop this as a TV show. And you're like, oh my God. And you like obsess over it. And you're like, what's new? Like what's happening? Like, oh my God. Like what's the next piece? And like, it becomes like an addiction. Like you have to like, cause you want it so badly. And so I finally was like, I'm done. I'm going to like, I think like 3 months ago, I just like stopped asking for updates, stopped asking for whatever. And then they just come to me and they're like, here's a trailer. And I'm like, oh shit. Awesome. I'm like focusing on other things, because I will stress and freak out and like over obsess.
What about?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like dating. If you're too thirsty, it's like you look desperate. So you're just kind of like,
absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's good to be excited for a while. Like you'll talk for a while. I think that's human. But then like, if you're like going, okay, well, it's going to happen how it's going to happen. So we'll just say
exactly. And I'm like, all that's going to happen, because then, you know, these shows like go away all the time. Like stuff gets in development, gets picked up, gets whatever, and then nothing happens. And I was like, if I obsess this much about it and then nothing happens with it, it's going to crush me. Yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Right. Whatever. This one's in development. I'm going to start working on the next one that I'm trying to get in development. Like, so like right now, Cold Dead Hands, another book that I do, where you're talking, like we just had a meeting with like probably one of the biggest movie writers in the last 20 years who's interested in like writing a script for a Cold Dead Hands movie. And I'm like, I'm not worried about Franklin and Ghost. Like that'll happen if it happens. Those people are already doing that. I'm gonna work on the next thing. And then when I get that thing started, then I'm gonna go on the next thing. Like I can't handle it.
Once it's out of your hands, there's nothing you can do. But
exactly, there's no point.
You know when they show you stuff.
Well, it's kind of like you have to allow space for it to come to you. That's the thing. Because if you're constantly going after it, it's good to a point, but then you start pushing it away because they're like, oh, okay, like you need to calm down, buddy. So it's like if you kind of let things, has like, you know, the TV, I would imagine, has to kind of go through its things. Like if you self-publish, you kind of go as fast as you can. It's all up to your control for the most part. But sometimes just if you're working with other people, you can't do that. You know, it's just like, they're going to do what they're going to do. And usually, like, if you just kind of let them do the thing, it'll be better than what you expected.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
So great show.
Ryan.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Ryan.
Yep.
What's your favorite thing to draw?
Oh, man. That's always the fun question. I don't have a favorite character anymore. I have a board that I printed out. I took a poll on people's favorite characters
with the Nerf gun,
whole, COVID thing, and it's probably got about 100 people on there. And I my kids or my wife or myself will shoot a Nerf dart at it, and that's who I draw for the day.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just something for people to like. I'll draw it live. We'll auction it off. Whatever the case is that day. But I don't have anything that's my favorite thing to draw except for like working on projects with either my own project or with other friends of mine's project. That's when you get into the like, oh dude, I want to do this. Like, how about this? How about that? Like I'm working on Persuasion 2. My wife and myself are working on getting covers for the Kickstarter, and we're working with, 30 different retailers now that are doing their own retailer variants of Persuasion while no one's in publication because we can still print. We have Shannon's writing a side story for Persuasion doing just the main character tests. And then I've got a lot of I'm doing with Marat Michaels where we're joining forces on some stuff. And then with Sora Song on her covers and with Garrett on his covers. It's like I have a lineup of like, this is going to be fun. 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 What can I do today? And it's when it's like, hey, can you draw me Spider-Man? That I'm like, damn. Yeah, okay. Like I'll draw Spider-Man for a minute, but then I want to get back into this, or then I want to get back into that. Because I like seeing my own project. Like Garrett knows like the feeling of seeing something you created just launching out there. And then for me, it's just as fun to help somebody else. Like I was involved, with Garrett when Warcorns first came out and the success, I was like, hell yeah, that's my buddy. And now I'm doing it with other friends, like seeing them launch out and how good they are. And I'm like, I got to be part of that. Like, that's dope. That's dope. That's dope. All my friends are doing, successful things. So it's fun. That's what I like to draw.
Well, you keep pointing out to everyone else, but what you're not doing is you're not pointing back to yourself. You yourself have been rather busy of late.
I'm always busy.
Yeah. You're asking an artist.
Mr. Humble over here. Like, that's fine. Like, I just ran like a massively successful Kickstarter. I just draw like, covers for some of the dopest shit in comics. Like, it's no big deal. Like, I'm more worried about everybody else.
I think right now the funnest part is the publishing side. It's a little weird on my end because I'm self-publishing everything. But I mean, now I'm working with like Nathan Zerdy's working on his third cover for me. I just got a cover done by Francisco Herrera, which was like a bucket list. Like that dude doesn't work in comics anymore. And he just did one for me.
Cool. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Bass is doing one. A local guy, or not local to me, but I think he's in, I don't know actually where he's from, but he's another con guy, Dominic Glover. Garrett, you've probably seen him at some point. I've got him working on covers, and he's never worked on anybody's covers before. So Persuasion, my book itself is doing really well, and it's pushed further for me to get the second issue out, which I've already written 4 issues now, and I'm doing the interiors myself. So it's a little slow because you're bouncing between different projects. Right. So I'm proud of the interiors, and I'm doing like 1 or 2 covers myself, but working with all these other artists on my project is dope. It's fun because then you're like, like I said, Elias, do something cool. To Balfo, do something cool, and you get to see what it turns out to be.
That's awesome. Yeah,
But
it's even also great. I mean, you're branching out to where Shannon's working with you, or extending and or augmenting your storylines. You know, that's freaking awesome.
The being stuck at home without killing my kids when they're gone is we've actually grown from it as a company, as a family company.
Yeah.
I don't have to do cons if I don't want to anymore. We use this opportunity to find out what basically what we're made of, what persuasion is made of. And it worked out. You know, I get messaged all the time, like if certain people can work on a cover. Kale's working on covers. Unknown Comics is working on covers. They're actually helping, you know, write the next couple or edit the next couple of issues for me. So it's been fun. So when con season does return, man, it'll be interesting to see, like, instead of just an artist table, it's like a persuasion compound.
Also, is that are you also saying that the next time we do an interview that basically Shannon will also be on here because she'll be showing some of her own stuff?
She is now actually. She's writing the test book, but if you follow the White Widow,
she's the like poster child.
Yeah, she's got her own cover.
She's been on a comic cover.
Yeah, she's popping them out now.
But I didn't know this.
Jamie Tyndall took her out in New York and shot her in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And they're also pitching to some people, and they loved Shannon's look, so they put her on, like, she's on 2 different covers now, and they want to get her out to St. Louis to do some more photo shoots to put her on more covers.
And this is your daughter, right? I'm sorry.
This is my wife.
Oh, your wife. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Congratulations. I just wasn't.
I'm older.
She's older than me.
No, you look great. I was just like, because I've not been formally introduced to brother. I kind of know Orion, but I met Garrett in person, but I've just not been introduced to the rest of the family. So I'm trying to get a beat on who's who right here.
No, Ryan is Shannon's kid.
Ryan.
Yeah. Basically how it works. Shannon, she tells me what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Well, you know, behind
she threatens our lives daily, including Garrett.
behind every strong woman is a weak man.
Yeah.
Yes, Garrett, grow that beard back, damn it! Like, I'm telling you.
Gotta look
it's coming, man. It's on the rise.
It's coming. It's
judging me.
That's okay, man. I've got. You know, we all have that haircut going on. You either have really long hair or you're shaving it right now.
Yep.
I'm kind of feeling this right now too. Like, I feel like I'm lucky with a hairdresser because there's a part right here. I don't know if you can tell because I got black hair, but right here, if it grows past a certain point, it starts itching my neck and my lower head really bad. Like, I kind of want to scratch it all the time, especially when it gets hot. And I'm like, fuck, I really do need to go to a hairdresser. I'm not saying that in a vanity way, but it's like, I just don't want to cut it and fuck it up. And, you know, it's.
Yeah, right. All of my friends, I'm watching them post, like, look how long my hair is. And then the next week, they're like, I can't take it. And it's. Everyone has a shaved head. That's like your only option unless you know a hairdresser or you live with one.
Yeah, like, I have a hairdresser that's good, but like in California, I don't know where you're at, Ryan, but in California.
Kansas City.
What?
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Okay. Yeah, Kevin and I are in California, and they shut down all the hairdressers. So I'm like, fuck.
Oh, they shut them all down here.
Oh, okay.
All you got to do is get Meal Team 6 to come and like protest to open up the hairdressers.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just
we don't have that out here.
No, our people listen.
Everyone's staying inside.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So it's just like it just sucks
around there.
Yeah.
Oh no, we watched the. We're from California. We grew up in Lancaster and Palmdale.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And then my family's actually out in. They all live out in Huntington. So we saw the whole protest this morning, right back Huntington here.
Shit. Oh God.
And I was like, wow, there's hundreds of people sitting at the beach right now just protesting.
Yeah. get the demon bitch haircut. They said it's funny.
All getting COVID because they're stupid.
get the demon bitch haircut.
It's funny.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd look good with that type of haircut. Actually, it just looks like some girl held me down after I slept with her boyfriend and just said, bitch. And it was like, that's what demon bitch looks
The
like.
perfect time that I get to wear my hat at all moments. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I wear a hat like 24/7, so I just figured out you could like I'll just take the buzzers and just go around the edge of the hat.
Yeah. So when you
Exactly.
like that
That's
off,
it.
it's a mess, right?
I'll get it fixed when I leave.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
with guys,
Exactly.
with guys, it's a little easier, like to get the haircut because, like, a lot of girls will have shoulder length and long hair, and I kind of have layers, but luckily I can go to the hairdresser like every 3 months with my haircut. But then I like it's beginning to get hot now, so it's sort of like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, like.
Oh, I feel your pain.
Well, yeah, Shannon's is usually like to her chin line, and now it's down to her.
It's past my shoulders.
It's past
now.
her shoulder, so she's like same
Oh,
boat,
it's a rough life, Shannon.
right? I know she's got it tough.
Yeah, it's like
She doesn't have to deal with me all day, so it's probably a little rough.
I have 5 boys to deal with.
Oh my God.
Gross.
Yeah, the gross.
Oh my God.
Because I have Ryan,
I'm the biggest kid.
and then I have my 2 boys, and then I have 2 male dogs
Oh, okay, there you go.
Don't like
Well,
each
the
other.
dogs
who don't like each
Dogs
other.
are probably more well behaved than Ryan, to
No.
be fair.
help.
No.
I mean, the dogs
Can't
help
be
out.
near each other.
My oldest dog is an asshole.
how is he an asshole?
He doesn't like my puppy.
Oh,
Come here.
Oh,
Oh God.
See, that's Chewbacca.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
That one's
Yeah,
that
he's got
one's the
his
one
nice
that's an
little
asshole.
collar on.
Chewbacca's an asshole.
He's an asshole.
Really? How
Yeah,
is
looks
he?
like- He kind of looks like an asshole.
He fights with the puppy, the 4-month-old puppy. If he comes anywhere near him, he wants to rip his head off.
Jesus
Oh, wow.
Christ.
oh,
big-
Mine's
It's
the
been
other way.
interesting in our household.
Mine's the other way. I've got a 4-month-old French
The
bulldog.
4-month wants to beat the old one.
Yeah, the 4-month. My
Yeah.
Bob Terrier's like, bro, let me chill, and this 4-month-old's like, no, fuck you, and like comes at him. And I'm like, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. He's just sleeping.
Yeah, the little one wants to play with him, but he's like, he doesn't want nothing to do with. He's like, I'm not gonna play. I'm gonna bite your head off.
Yeah. Which dog is bigger?
So if I don't have 2 kids fighting, I have 2 dogs fighting.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
damn. So which one is bigger?
Which
What's
one's
that?
bigger?
Which dog is bigger?
Oh, the old one. The other one's little. It's a Shih Tzu, so it's like this big.
He's
Oh,
like
God
5
damn.
pounds right now. He's only 4
Yeah, he's
months
only
old.
4 months old.
So they're just
His
kind of
name is Oliver Queen.
I think that the real question about this whole stream is why Ryan is continuing to buy Shih Tzus.
No.
No. He's a lasso.
No. Ryan wants no dogs. It was this one.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Oh God, he's got one too.
Chewbacca actually.
Fucking hell!
Where's my cat?
Chewbacca
She's
is a lasso also,
half Maltese, half
and
Shih Tzu,
Oliver
so-
is a Shih Tzu.
Oh,
excuse me.
okay.
And Garrett, you be quiet because I want a big dog, but Ryan, we
apartment.
can't because we're in an apartment right now. I want a
I
big
get
ass
that.
pit.
Me too.
Well, so like everybody streams that we've been doing, right? Like we're doing this stream. I did a stream with Unknown. Cat.
Hey, buddy.
Doing like probably 10 different streams, and everybody has these cool backgrounds, and like Garrett's got this cool office with shit all over him. And then you go, everyone's like, Ryan, what do you work in? And I'm like, my kitchen table,
Yeah.
my couch. There's
Don't
nothing
be
fun.
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 The rest of this room
I
is
always-
completely
always-
empty.
And we always do our show out. So people kind of, you
Yeah.
know, I've had people hit me up. You sit on your couch. You don't have an office. You don't have all your No, it's a father and son show, and the big thing is we hang out on the couch because that's usually where we talk about our comics or watch
Hasn't
TV.
changed since we started.
Hasn't changed all this time. So.
Ain't broke, don't
Yeah.
fix it.
Hey, Garrett,
No,
I
I
do
mean-
want to get back to you though. I want to get back to the continuity of what you're doing in the sense of you've done Franklin and Ghost, which now is going into Warcorns.
Yeah.
And then you also just started and kind of completed another Kickstarter, which is Spiro. Can you
Yeah.
tell the community about Spiro? I'm excited about Spiro.
So Spiro is a all ages novel. It's the first thing that I've written that's not a comic. And I will like use the term novel very loosely because it's not like I told someone that and they thought it was like a fucking Game of Thrones book, and I was like, no, no. Like, I mean, the first book was like 8,000 words. Like, it's not huge. But basically Spiro is like a old like fairy tale-esque like fable book that follows basically like this rabbit hero that finds like an ancient weapon capable of like purifying the evil heart of like anybody it comes in contact with. And we did a Kickstarter for pins for that like go along with the story. So like we did the main sword of the story is called the Heartbreaker Sword. I don't know if I don't think it's gonna even like sword. Yeah. So we did like gigantic pins of the sword and of Spiro's face. But it's going to be a book. It's coming out from SourcePoint Press. I think in July is the first book.
That's what I did. I think that's when I did see it. The end of July, I believe.
So starting next week, they've got like they're going to have like a promotional landing page where you can like go and like follow stuff about the book and its release and about the story and all kinds of stuff. And then like they've got like an 8-week build until like the release. So it's going to be awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's very different from like everything I've written, which is both terrifying and exciting. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Which is another reason why I wanted to bring it up. Because to me, this is a turn from what I believe that you're kind of known for as far as what you've released in the past. And I think this is, I don't know if you're familiar with Richard Fairgray or like you did make mention of David Boer. You know, not only do we love the whole horror and gore, or even, you know, Kai, which is coming again, he really digs the how should I say, so some of the well, it was Basket Full of Heads. Would that be considered suspense horror kind of? But I mean, he gets me into that type of stuff, but at the same point, we like to go towards the all ages stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, it's a good way to hit the reset button, I guess. You know what I mean?
Kanto.
And Kanto, right? So
David's a good friend of mine, and I really enjoyed Kanto. And like I had kind of had Spiro kind of just like tucked away. And after Kanto came out, I kind of told David, I was like, dude, like I need to do something different. Like this is, I love Kanto. You know, I think like I've been doing like mature stuff for a while. Like I want to do something different. Like I've got 2 kids that like always want to like see what dad's making, and I'm like, no. So like I think it's cool to like come back and like do stuff. Like I constantly try to like switch it up. If you like switch up what you do, like I feel like it builds you, right? So like I've gotten in this groove of just like let's make dick jokes and like shoot a bunch of people and like blow stuff up. Now I'm like, okay, cool. How do you write a plot where you don't have to do all of that stuff?
So like that, you got to figure. I went from pinup, hardly thin, naughty and nice, to DC Superman, Batman, to the thing that got almost notorious for was freaking Happily Ever After. You know, a bunny with a sword running around fairy tale land that actually is not family oriented because it kills everyone.
That's and that's funny. Like Ryan and I, when I first started Spiro, I talked to Ryan about that book because I was like, I didn't know anything about, like, I've never read Stabity Bunny, but I thought my you know understanding of that story was not anything to do with like fairy tales or whatever. And so like after I started like working on Spiro, I was like, oh fuck, what is this Happily Ever After or whatever like book where he's got this sword and like whatever, and I'm all, Ryan, like I don't want to step on Richard's toes here, like what is this? And like luckily Ryan gave me like the go ahead, like no, you're good. But I think it's great. Like I love that stuff though. I think that stuff you draw for Stabity Bunny is amazing.
Yeah, that's
which is another thing why I bring this up as far as a correlation, because Ryan, I'm bring that up that Garrett has kind of hit this right turn and what he's known for and what he's done in the past. And in some regards, you're also showing the same dynamic in some of the stuff that you've been doing art-wise. Like you made mention, you kind of been known for pinup stuff, but now you've broadened out. The last thing I saw, you just did a live art piece of, what was that? Bounty Hunter? Was that Boba Fett?
We did I actually it was a team up with Nathan Zerdy. So we did a Boba Fett piece. It was a female Boba Fett, so it's still pinup. But I went into comics knowing some of the people I looked up to that are very much pigeonholed to that's all they really do. And I never wanted to get stuck that way. I went pinup style to like I did Dick Tracy books, I've done Ninja Turtle books, I've done kid books, I did Archie. I've made it very well aware that I'm not just going to draw females. And then this whole Stabby Bunny thing came up, which is again, it's more the Stabby Bunny series is more like Supernatural, but with a grandmother, granddaughter, and daughter. And then the bunny's literally just a stuffed rabbit, doesn't do anything. We did covers with that, like horror homage style. Like I did a Donnie Darko cover, and that's what really started it. To where we did the Stabby Ever After, where we brought this stuffed bunny to life, and he's still just a stuffed bunny. He just can move. He can't talk. He's like Michael Myers of a stuffed animal world. And that, people got used to seeing both sides. Like I get asked to draw Stabby, and then the next day it's like, can you draw Wonder Woman? Like DC's like, hey, we want you on a Wonder Woman cover. And then Scout's like, hey, we're going to do another issue of Stabby Ever After. Okay, we'll go for it.
And I think that's a great, how to say, accomplishment in the sense that most individuals do not have that ability, dynamic-wise, to be able to go from this spectrum to that spectrum. They're kind of, like you said, they're kind of locked in a small spectrum, pigeonholed, and that's it. That's all I know. That's all I can do.
Yeah. I didn't want to be that guy. I mean, look at like Joshua Middleton, man. You have to look for his name on some of his covers if you're not used to the fact that his style changes depending on what he wants to draw. I know a few artists that are the same way, but at least I can say it allows me to work on more projects. When Garrett wants me to work on the next Warcorns, it's going to be, more animated unicorns. And then when we go to Spiro, it's going to be straight cartoon.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And it really, I believe it truly exemplifies the story in the sense of how he's truly trying to tell it. You know what I mean? And it doesn't, I guess I used the word earlier, but it doesn't hinder, it doesn't lock down the exact expression that the writer's trying to do, because you're able to change with the literature that's given to them. That's an accomplishment most can't do. So hey, I think pretty much we're at our 1 hour mark. How many people we got here in the chat? 7. So I do have a book here, and if those in the chat would love to receive this book, I am looking for a particular word, and that word is Spiro. You type in Spiro, and we'll do a wheel, and we'll spin for this book. Type in Spiro now. I'm going to go get Kai. We're going to look up this wheel, and we're going to spin. Be right back.
Do it.
I'm on the wheel. How do I get on the wheel?
Spiro in the main chat. Spiro.
I'm like over here drawing on the iPad while it's going on. I'm like, I didn't even see we could type. How do we type?
When the fuck are you gonna draw my Jessica Rabbit, Ryan? The fuck, dude?
Whoa!
I can draw.
All right,
I can draw a thing for Garrett for free. I'll just draw Demon Jessica Rabbit.
There you go.
I don't ever want that ever.
I drew like 5 over the last week.
Yeah, I know. I was being ignored while you guys were posting that on the live thing, and I was like, cool, I want this. Like, can I buy Jessica Rabbit? And you're like, let's respond to everybody but Garrett. Ha ha! What's up?
No, we did it as a charity auction. All of those Jessica Rabbits that we sold went to help people with their bills.
I feel like I'm cheating.
I like charities.
You guys know Justin?
Oh,
He's
I know
writer.
Justin. He's
I'm
he's
sorry,
a letterer. Yeah, he letters a bunch of books for me. Yep.
So, Justin, no, you're not cheating. And if you want to jump in there, man, Spero, Spiro, jump in there, man.
If I spell it right first, do I count?
Right?
I
Hey,
was
you want
looking
the
at
word
it,
you
that's
get
not
it.
right.
I think it's that's a little inside there. So we got Kai, we have Justin. Let's throw Justin in there. We got Backseat, we got Rose.
Yeah.
Come on, we got 7 in the chat. There's got to be Ben. You want to jump in here? I know. I saw that, man. That thing is so
Isn't that
freaking
sick?
cool.
Yeah.
That
turned out
is
really
so.
good.
And you're the first person I've ever seen do that.
I know. I didn't
Wait,
even know it
what
could
is
be
that?
done. It's a print from
Okay, actually, can you
C2E2.
tell the community what you got? Most people
Oh,
may
yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah,
know.
yeah. You
So
can,
I
you
did
can
at
get it
C2,
authenticated.
yeah, at C2E2, we did like an announcement about Spiro, and we handed these out. And if you got one of these, it says at the bottom, if you bring it back to any show, like starting in fall, you get a collectible coin, a Spiro collectible coin. And someone asked me, and like, well, on a Facebook Live video, they're like, "Can you grade those?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe." So I sent 4 of them or 5 of them to CGC, and they sent them back, and it's like in a like not even like laminate. It's like what goes inside of a CGC slab. They like
Yeah.
basically
what
like
it is.
encapsulated it. But it's really cool. Like they turned out really awesome. Nice way to like preserve prints.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's how they do the 11 by 17 prints. It's the same thing.
Yep. It's cool.
All right. So I see 7 people in the chat. Presently, I believe that we have some bodies. Can you read off the bodies, Kai?
Justin, Backseat, Artist, and Chris.
So we have 4, but I thought 1, 2, 3. I already
Scott's
have
already
few.
Scott's already got a copy.
All right, Scott, you got some graded, if I recall, too.
Scott's
a
got
big
some
fan.
dope shit. Yeah,
So the
he's
artist
got-
is
yeah.
Rose. Oh, sorry. The artist is Rose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So we got Rose, Justin, Chris, Backseat, and Christy. You want to jump in there or no?
I'm good. You know, I kind of feel like I already won going to the chapel. I'm going to let people do their thing right there.
Okay.
So I can always blackmail one of you two. I already know who you are, so I'll just go ahead and get shit from there.
Yeah.
So before I spin this, I want to say that I am very grateful. We are very grateful and appreciative of 1, of you 2 coming on here. 2, of Christy always hanging out with us. God. 3, big shout out to Comic Bug. Comic Bug sold us this book at half price. I know a lot of the shops right now are selling trays and things like that at half price. They knew that I would be doing this interview, and they always try to help us out with buying books so we can hand out to the community when we do these interviews. So Comic Bug, thank you again. We greatly appreciate you. And without further ado, let's spin this wheel. Show it, show it, show it, show it.
They're not going to see it. The brightness is too dark.
Well,
No, I was like, oh,
let's go ahead and let's brighten this screen up.
Kai basically
Here.
told everybody to screw you.
Yeah, he was like, fucking whatever, dude. Fuck off.
This is what you get.
Let's do that again. I just removed Backseat. Sorry, Backseat.
You know what? Give it to me.
Kai's got it, and he's gonna go ahead and make ourselves big, and we're not gonna make ourselves look like what we just did.
As he just said, these shows are always awesome. You're like, and we've taken you off.
And you're screwed.
I'm so sorry, Backstreet. Oh, that's my way of saying thank you.
You won. You won. Officially, you won.
So Kai's gonna go ahead and hold it, and he's gonna tap it, and he's gonna spin. Ready to do
I
it?
think you're holding it.
And he's spinning it. We're spinning it. We're doing something.
So fancy. It's
Right
so-
wheel.
Who's there? Who is it?
It's green.
Back.
And he
So you
wins,
still
too.
get it. Man,
funny.
you the man, you the man, you the man.
so funny.
Yeah, I want to say Backstreet's been one of our longtime actual patrons. Kai and I have only been doing this maybe, 8 or 9 months? So Backstreet's been hanging out with us a long time. Before we go, Backstreet, I ask of you, please contact us on Instagram. Drop your address. You know I'll try to get that out to you by Monday. That's my goal. And before we leave, let's go around the clock backwards. Ryan, can you please tell us what's going on with you, how people can find you? I know I dropped a couple links in the description, but how about we verbally?
You can find any of my stuff under ryanmkincaid.com. It'll link you to Instagram or Facebook. I can never remember what any of my user handles are. It's just Ryan M. Kincaid or Ryan M_Kincaid. So easiest way is just go to the website and it'll link you to any of that stuff.
Awesome. And Shannon, thank you very much.
I had a ton of fun with Garrett. Garrett is...
Yeah, Garrett's the man. I appreciate everybody.
Hear that? Fuck you, Ryan. Had fun with me.
Like what?
I couldn't hear. Somebody was cutting out on.
I just was telling you to go fuck yourself. It's fine. You can find me on all my social media at Some Writer Guy. Because if you can't remember who wrote it, I don't know. It's Some Writer Guy. You can also get anything I make on lastwolflegion.com.
That's awesome. Christy.
Yes.
So you started a brand new Kickstarter. Can you throw a little info at the public community and tell them what's going on with you?
Okay, it's going to start on 5/20, and it's called the I Told You So campaign. It's going to be a shitty tarot deck, which really isn't a tarot deck. It's just basically some form of stupid deck that with Demon Bitch's dumb face on it.
That's
and
funny.
I'm going to put up the preview link. Follow that. And it's going to be full of bad art. It's going to actually have a dust mask / bandana thing. So when this pestilence is over, you get to wear it. It basically says maybe someone could take DMT and talk to the coronavirus, because I actually did see somebody say that. So I started writing. So yeah, so there's that. And then I have the pancreas tits pin. So I'll put that also in here too. So that link works. You can actually follow it and read the whole thing as I evolve it. And then most likely I'm probably going to hit stretch goals, and it's going to have the plague doctor and COVID-19, but with really big tits, like dummy thick, with big tits and an ass.
Oh my God.
So, and then just a stupid art book I did. So just please follow that. It's going to be coming up on 5/20. It is not completely done as of yet. It's 80 to 90% done, but I have pretty much everything lined out. So I just got to go and wait on a couple of videos, and that's it.
Awesome.
Can I forgot something. Can I plug one other thing?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. What were you about?
For the
Family
next,
show,
I mean,
man.
we talked.
Family show.
Oh, I'm so sorry. For the next 7 days, we were talking about Warcorns. We've got the Warcorns enamel pin Kickstarter right now for the next 7 days. There's we're running a campaign where you can get each of the 4 Warcorns, a pin of each of the 4 Warcorns. We already we funded in 6 hours. So we're at stretch goal number 4, I think. We're $200 away from stretch goal number 4. So for the next 7 days, I will. I don't know how to do. Yeah, I don't know how to do computers, but yeah. So if you guys want to check it out, that'd be dope.
All right, put that up in there.
I put it in the private chat. I don't know that I can type in the live comments, can I?
I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, I couldn't figure that out either.
Yeah, it's fine.
I draw things. I don't technical things.
Yeah, it has to do with the moderators and stuff. They're the ones that would normally kick in for things like that. So
check this out.
and the reason why I'm leaving backseat drivers thank you up there is, to me, this is a perfect way to end, in a sense of, I don't believe he's just thanking me for the book. I believe he's thanking the whole panel for today's show, which I am too. I can't put it any better in the sense of saying thank you, and that's how I want to end this show. So, community, panel, everyone, from us at
1, 2
Comic Talk, we're out. Hang out with the
Thanks, guys.